wanted to become members of this organization because, all the alumni were joining it, and it felt that it was a way to operate and, not be known to Catholicism. Well, guess what? You're in a Catholic organization. You're in an organization that's funded by the Vatican, so everything you do, everything you are is known. They're keeping records on you.
Exactly, yeah.
So we want to know why the world was in today, and people stand up and go, "Oh, Michael, you can't be serious. No secret society can just come in and take over."
Yeah.
Well, I say back to them, yeah, first of all, it didn't happen like that, and secondly, if you know how these people actually organized it, how they co-opted the intelligentsia of the world and had their whole profile in the palm of their hands, you better believe they can take over.
Exactly.
Don't corporations take over today? Isn't people screaming about the great imperial corporate takeover of America, and America is basically only 150, 180 years old,
yeah.
and they're already telling you that within half that time, corporations basically own the world? How can you admit that corporations can own the world, but you can't say that in 2,000 years, secret societies can take over the world?
Exactly.
When for 2,000 years, all there was a bunch of feudal villages. My goodness, people need to wake up. Nothing could have been easier. This thing didn't come in and take over. It owned the world. It already had annihilated anybody who could stand in its way.
Exactly.
And it was already run by dukes and princes and potentates of the highest level.
I mean, exactly, and that's a really, it's a difficult concept to get around in a way also. But I think it's true, that they actually have, they have handed down, the entire civilizations, entire, the game plan of the industrial, revolution and all of this stuff also.
Oh, it's all been scripted.
Yeah.
It's all been scripted. And they're so brilliant. I mean, this whole story of, you're talking about secret societies and their manifestos, this whole thing of the protocols of the elders of Zion.
Yeah.
It's not the protocols of the elders of Zion. It's the protocols of the elders of Sion.
Yeah.
Right? It's the old Atonists. The Levites come from a city in Egypt called Zion, which is called Avaris. And that's where Akhenaten, grew up. So when you see, I mean, people don't, the title alone, the protocols of the learned elders of Zion.
Yeah.
Elders is a word from aldar, which is the tree, like an alder tree. A-L-D-E-R.
Yeah.
Right? That's a druidic story. So the elders are the elves or the aldars. It's like in England we have a thing called an alderman. You know that? It's like a mayor.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
In Sweden, what's the name for your mayor?
Borgmästare, that's mayor.
It's for a mayor, yeah?
Yeah, sure.
Right. Well, the next one down, or say they can't get a mayor, the next stage down is what they call alderman.
Okay.
Alderman is the old druidic priest alder. They're named after the 13 trees.
Yeah.
So the elders of Zion, and then you realize, okay, they got the druidic bit in there, then they got the Zion bit in there, which is Judaic, not Jewish.
Yeah.
When people are running around believing the Nazis saying, oh, look, the protocols is a Jewish document about Jewish world takeover, and then they're going and murdering every Jew they can find. What nonsense.
Yeah.
They don't even know how to read. It's, why, thank goodness. This is a document that is coming from the old Atonist Zionistic, the true Zionistic, brainchild of the world takeover. It's there right in front of everybody.
Yeah.
The works of Theosophy are right there. Nobody reads it. You see, the real manifestos of world control are always there in front of everybody. It's always hidden in plain sight.
Yeah.
But people are we have so many disinformation agents working in the conspiracy movement.
Yeah.
In the same way we've had them in the New Age movement. And then their books are highly available. So people read that rubbish, which has maybe, 60% truth, 40% lie, or 40% lie, and, 60%. And people buy into this, or they watch an hour of some stupid, bogus, so-called, hey, we're going to explain a conspiracy to you on TV program.
History Channel or whatever.
Yeah, which is absolute. I mean, I'm an expert on taking those things apart because those are some of the most rotten, useless shows that actually seed a lot of very deadly, philosophies about Masonry and about the history of America and stuff like that. They give you maybe, if that, they give you like 1 or 2%, truth. It's very, very minor on how much truth they give you, but they're very subtle. Yeah. They're very, very subtle on, they're still running around idealizing people like Francis Bacon, and all this nonsense. My God, if they only knew what these people were all about. And for every Francis Bacon, there is some true genius that the world knows nothing about.
Yeah.
Some absolutely fantastic healer or teacher or cosmologist, like Giordano Bruno or whoever, and there's so many more. They're completely thrown by the wayside, and people forget about them while the system, idealizes these monsters.
Yeah, exactly. And again, feels like it's so easy to, if you know, if you keep the record straight, let's say as an organization who are into this that we are talking about, if you keep the record straight, then all you have to do is, as you say, flood the market with the bullshit, basically.
Yeah.
And people can't,
I mean, and also again, it's the same old situation where the people who really have done the homework, it takes time to do the homework.
Yeah, it does.
And so then, they work slowly, they work like hermits, so everybody's going to hear a Tex Mars, everybody's going to hear a Jim Mars, but how many people have heard of Uri Lina?
Yeah, exactly.
Now,
yeah.
You want to know about Masonry and the connections between Masonry and the Vatican, pick up that guy. What about Viscount Comte de Poncin, right? This fantastic writer, the Viscount Comte de Poncin, who wrote about 5 or 6 books in the early part of the 1900s, who exposing every possible connection you can think of between the Vatican and the secret societies. His books are almost unavailable. In the early part of the 1900s, you have Nesta Webster, who wrote about 7 or 8 of the most incredible books on the world conspiracy. You have Lady Queensborough. You have Eustace Mullins in America.
Yeah.
There's so many authors out there who really went into great depth on this. You have Bill Hughes. You have John Phelps. John Phelps more recently.
Yeah, sure.
People can check out his work, Vatican Assassin.
Yeah.
There are, but Uri Lina has written a book called Architects
of Deception. Yeah, that's right.
I think he's from originally from Russia, of course.
Yeah.
And he was on one of the top list of the KGB for as many years as the KGB has been in existence. This man has been hunted. He now lives in Sweden. He's one of the greatest teachers on Freemasonry.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he is showing these connections.
Yeah.
But these connections have been known from the earliest days, because there's been whistleblowers, there's been people from within, from inside who've dared to speak the truth.
Yeah. And one thing I also wanted to try to tie this together with is, I don't want to express my worries in that sense that we shouldn't go fight against whatever for a 9/11 truth or anything like that, but could it be also then now to tie this to a modern idea or concept that because this movement, if we can call it the 9/11 truth movement, also is one of these movements who seems to be kind of be shattered from within with all these different people with different theories, and we can't talk about this or the other or whatever, and as soon as we, I guess, associate ourselves with one of these groups, again, we have the danger of it being infiltrated and being, taken apart, basically.
Well, you see, it's two ways of looking at it. The spirit of rebellion is very Aquarian, which means, in layman's terms, it is a thing that scatters a lot. There are many voices. It does appear like a lot of stuff. So people have to get used to that. I know that it can appear to be chaotic, and there's lots and lots of different, it's like the parliament of birds. There's so many voices. But you see, unfortunately, that's a sort of a hallmark of the rebel. In the old tradition, the jester, the joker, the fool, he wears a multicolored coat.
Yeah.
It's got so many facets. So I'm always focused on this concept of the spirit of rebellion coming in. And one of the hallmarks of the spirit of rebellion is that there are the multiplicity of different points of view, let's say.
Yeah.
But and of course that can be confusing. But what you got to do is take a metaphor from biology. Don't they say that the heaviest brains are the ones who have the most synapses? Right? They say that synapses is the connectors.
Yeah, sure.
Non-linear brains. They say that women's brains are always heavier than men's because women are the ones who can connect disparate things that are not normally linear connected.
Yeah.
Women's minds have a tendency to be able to synthesize seemingly unrelated, phenomena.
Areas. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And so they say their brain is heavier than a man who's more linear, more super rational.
Yeah.
So the brain is already telling you the story. The brain, like the internet, by diversity, by what we would call controlled chaos or whatever, this sort of diversity,
yeah,
is in a way a good thing.
It is.
So A person has to learn how to juggle with it. A person has to learn how to dive into it, become mutable.
Yeah.
We have grown up for hundreds of years in a very Saturnian, very Martian, and I'm using astrological terminology here, so people have to forgive me, but we've come from a very rigid, focused, rational, methodical, linear place.
Yeah.